So many cryptos are starting to break out as we approach the much anticipated rate cut coming on Wednesday. And many people are starting to call for alt season already as certain charts and certain indicators flash that alt season is here. Is it time to start taking profits, or is it time to hold your bags, start setting in a strategy for what comes next? In this video, I'm going to be talking about how we should approach alt season, what we should be looking at, and how we should take our steps to make significant gains in this bull run. So if that sounds good to you, come join the show.
What do they do when change happens? They print money to make sure people feel okay. And
Mm-hmm.
so if I overlay all these things together, I have a very bullish outlook for the amount of money that's going to be printed between now and the end of the decade. The question just becomes, what are the expectations within the crypto ecosystem about, or just a general macro ecosystem about what that is? I think that people are underpricing the upside in equities, in crypto, and everything. They don't realize how badly all these governments need to print money. Yes, it's going to end in absolute Armageddon at the end of the
Yeah.
cycle, whenever that is. But I don't think we're there yet. Governments are only starting to get the mojo back about, I'm going to print money to buy defense goods, to hand down handouts to the population. China is, battling with its own sort of deflation and doing drips and drabs of stimulus. They'll come around to the party too, in some way, shape, or form. The Japanese have to do it. The Europeans have to do it. The Americans have to. Everyone has to do it at the same time. And we have this AI robotics deflationary effect, which could completely destroy the fractional reserve banking system if everyone doesn't have a job and now has to service all these debts. What do? Do we fully reserve the system and print money to make sure the banks are okay, or do you let everyone go bankrupt? I don't know, right? We have a lot of big societal choices, and usually when humans have big societal choices, the government chooses to print money first. So I think we're in this first inning of this massive change in the how we organize this global society, and therefore I don't believe in the 4-year cycle. I believe that we can continue ripping through 150, 175, $200,000 Bitcoin because of this massive macro overlay of what is happening right now between now and the end of the decade.
So that was Arthur Hayes there, very long to medium term bullish on Carl Chassie's show. I recommend you go and check out Carl Chassie's channel. He's got some great interviews on there at the moment, including one with Adieni from Sui as well, which I watched earlier. So, but going back to what Arthur was saying there, he's very bullish in the long term for governments printing money. But where does that leave us with the 4-year cycle? Now, some people are throwing this 4-year cycle in the bin and saying that it's no longer relevant. This is a bigger macro picture. But I'm reluctant to just throw it in the bin because I believe that cycles do find a way of making themselves happen again and again. So, when you look at stock markets, their cycles can be longer than 4 years. They do work with the presidential election cycle, but maybe, there could be a high in this 4-year cycle and then another correction, which maybe is not a deep bear market like we've seen every 4 years in crypto previously. Maybe it's a smaller correction and we carry on, up until 27, 28. It's entirely possible. There is another cycle that I will cover, do a full video on at some point, and it's called the Shemitah 7-year cycle. The last time it topped was in 2021, and before that it was 2014, and before that it was 2007. So yeah, I mean it's one to note and one to take seriously. So the way I'm starting to approach things now is because I did have my eyes more set on the 4-year cycle. I'll be open to admit that, and I still have my eyes on that 4-year cycle. I'm not taking my eyes off of it, but I am watching charts more and for indicators and for certain things, whether it's economics, technicals, fundamentals. Putting all of those things in the picture, and I think you have to. I believe you have to have a lot of strategy now. You have to watch the news, listen to the economic data coming out, and you also have to be watching the charts and looking at where your cryptos are and where they could possibly head to. You also have to have, an exit strategy should things turn against you. And yeah, you just have to have your eyes on everything and understand that this cycle could go out longer. And it also could just follow the 4-year cycle and just end in Q4. So let's just monitor things like day by day, week by week. Keep your eyes on certain charts that you believe should do certain things. And if they don't seem like they're doing that and they start to go back the other way, and I'm not talking about jumping out on panic dumps and everything, you need to set levels where you believe that things could be going against us. But then at the same time, if things keep going, you need to be layering out and taking profits and getting into cash as well. But that doesn't mean that you can't still accumulate either. It doesn't mean that you have to say, right, what I've got in crypto now is what I've got, and I'm waiting for all the new retail to come, and then I'm going to unload my bags. Because this could be, this could be the biggest cycle that crypto has ever seen. I mean, the institutions are there, the regulation is there, and I just think it could be absolutely huge. And you wouldn't want to sell too early, would you? At the same time, you wouldn't want it all to turn against you, and then all of a sudden you haven't taken any money and seen any gains from this. Because I tell you what, riding it all the way down, round tripping all your bags, it will be painful, and you don't want to do that. So what my plan is I'm going to just keep monitoring the data. I will be taking profits. At times, I may even buy the dip on certain things, but maybe I will be de-risking out of more riskier assets and getting into more safer assets. But then at the same time, if I see opportunities, I need to free up cash to enter on those opportunities as well, because there's going to be a lot of opportunities in this cycle, and it could be quite early or it could be quite late. We don't know. Nobody knows. Don't listen to anyone online telling you that they know. Doesn't matter how much of an expert you think they are, nobody knows exactly what's going to happen. So the best way to do it is to learn how to study the cycle, how to watch the charts, monitor things, track things, and have strategies. So it was a strong week for crypto, and lots of coins have been giving significant gains. We've been having a pullback in the last 24 hours on many coins, but I believe the bullishness will continue. Now, what happens around the rate cut? I'm pretty sure it's going to be a 25 basis point cut. There is a chance of 50 basis point, but as the polls show, it's quite a small chance. So let's go with 25 basis point for now, and the assumption that that's going to happen. It could be a sell the news event in the near term, but I believe long term the rate cuts will keep coming. I don't think there'll be one rate cut and then a pause. I believe it'll be 25 basis points, and then I believe the next meeting there'll be another 25 basis points, and I believe that's potentially going to continue into early next year. I believe the Fed have got to cut a lot to catch up because they've been slow and late. And where people are saying, it's 50 basis points, maybe it is. Maybe it's 75. Maybe it's a full point, but maybe it's done over a number of meetings rather than, jumping straight in with 50 basis points. So yeah, looking at this week, been a few coins been doing really well. MYX up 250%, Pump Fun up 72%, WorldCoin up 49%, Mantle up 34%, Meme Core up 34%, Immutable X 24%, and it goes down. Solana has had a fantastic week, up 19%. Bonk following it shortly behind. Pudgy Penguins too. So there you go, a bit of meme season starting already, maybe, on Solana. And Avalanche had a great week, 18%. Fartcoin, 17%. There's a lot of meme coins here, isn't there? SPX 6900. So the meme coins have been moving this week, which is great to see. But also some big projects here. You see Say up 11%. And like I say, they've been pulling back a bit the last day or so. But there's been some really good gainers. Even Sui's been making some good moves, which we're going to cover today. And it's been good to see the markets taking some nice moves. As you can see, the BTC ETFs saw a net inflow of 2.3 billion in 1 week, while the ETH ETFs saw 637 million in weekly net inflows. Very good to see. And the SEC said it does not consider Ethereum a security. And that is great for the whole of crypto, because if Ethereum's not a security, that means probably the majority of big layer ones are not securities either. Any tokens with the same sort of fundamentals would probably be cleared as not a security by the SEC. And that's a great thing for the crypto space because, you know, as we saw under Gary Gensler, you know, everything was a security except for Bitcoin. Well, he wouldn't actually comment on it, would he? He said, I would only speak to one crypto, but, you know, we knew he was trying to say that other coins were securities. So this is great as well. As I was mentioning, the chances of the rate cut are extremely high. 93.4% odds for 25 basis point cut and 6.6% chance of a 50 basis point cut. We'll take the 25 basis point. That'll be good. And we've just touched back into greed after spending last week touching fear and a lot of time in neutral. We are back in greed, back for the first time since last month. And as I've shown you in other videos, fear and greed index can stay in greed and extreme greed for quite a while. So there's no reason to start taking profits at the first sign of greed. And look, I'm pleased to say, after all of those videos saying we will get an alt season, it's finally here, according to Blockchain Center. It is alt season, yeah, scoring a 76. Okay, and as we can see here, it's broken above this 75 level, which qualifies it as officially alt season. Okay, and yeah, it's up there at the same level as it saw at the end of last year, November 24, and also the same as where we saw it earlier on in that year, 24. And you know, this is what it looks like in other cycles. Okay, this is what we want here, like this. As you can see, we're just touching into it now. And this type of levels hitting up here, like in the high 90s, okay, 94 it hit back in 96 even, 2021, okay. And if we go back to like 2018, 2017, you know, it was up here touching well above that 98, even 100, okay. So it can go higher and it can spend more time up there. So yeah, no, it's a great to see. It's a confirmation that alt season is getting started. But look, there's also the chance that this could drop down and then go back up again, okay? As we can see, the top 50 performers of the last 90 days, okay? And yeah, you've got Pengu there, you've got IP, Kronos, Mantle, Athena. Is that Ethereum? Yeah, Ethereum, Link, you know, Doge, Solana. There's a few there, Arbitrum, AVAX. BNB, obviously, there's a lot there. You know, I won't read through them all, but a lot of coins starting to do really well. Okay, and people are starting to celebrate the alt season already. And yeah, it hit 84. So as I showed you there, it was on around 76. It has been as high as 84 so far, which is the highest it's been in the last year. Nick says, this is Nick from Coin Bureau as well, by the way. Alt season is coming. Some say it's here. But one thing is certain, it won't be a tide that lifts all boats. Take a hard look at your portfolio. Are you holding that alt because you really believe in it or because you hope alt season will save it? Hope is not a strategy, and that is very, very true. And in a slightly different opinion, okay, this is Alex Becker. I repeat, this isn't alt season, you overexcited schoolgirl crypto virgins. Alt season isn't tiny 2 to 3x pumps on a few coins. It's every coin pulling 2 to 3x's, many 10 to 20x in. Coins ripping so hard, money doesn't feel real or dollars don't feel real. This is coming. Don't climax at the first sight of a boob. So slightly different opinions there. Now, what do you think? Leave your comments below. Yeah, is it alt season? And you know, how are you feeling about it? What are you going to be doing? You know, it's funny because some people will think that it's like alt season. Here it is. You know, here we go, and it's going to go on for ages. And then other people will be like, you know, having a bit of PTSD because this bull run, if you're in altcoins, has been tough. You know, you've been watching Bitcoin making new highs every few months, and then you know you're seeing your altcoins like lagging behind or going down and stuff like that. And it, you know, I think they're both partly right if you get what I'm saying. Nick's right. You do have to pick well. But also Alex is right as well, because most things will go up, but how well will they perform? And how are you managing the risk in your portfolio? You have to be in some of the hot layer ones, or big name chains, things like Solana, Sui, Ethereum, and then think projects like Chainlink, and dexes, top dexes, and stuff like that. And but then there's also lots of opportunities in smaller coins as well. You have to really pick well, and only you can do that. Only you can make your decisions on how you want to invest. I would always say manage your risk by being diversified and diversing your larger portions of your capital in the bigger, safer assets, and then obviously, small parts in lower caps and meme coins and such. And just a quick look at the health of the crypto market, as we always do. Okay, TVL rising, stablecoins rising, DEX volume rising, and we can take a zoomed in look at that. Okay, as we can see, it's just going. All of them are just going to new highs. Okay, DEX volume is probably going to pick up a bit and follow in suit, but yeah, TVL climbing to new highs. And I think last time I covered it, it was 152 billion. That was last week. Now we've gone up by 10 billion locked in DeFi. So it's really bullish signs. And are the shorts about to get wrecked? Latest 7 billion in shorts will be liquidated if Bitcoin hits 120k. I do like to see the shorts getting wrecked. As a hodler, I'm not a trader. I don't short the market. Okay, I especially wouldn't short in a bull market if I was shorting. Yeah, I mean, it would be great to see a lot of liquidations on the short side. 7 billion would send us flying. Okay, and if Bitcoin goes flying, altcoins go flying too. And Stop Money Lizard says, even if altcoins get rejected here, squeeze will come and it will be epic, likely in Q4. Stay tuned. So this is the short squeeze zone here on Total 3, okay, about to break out, and it is breaking out, and we're going to cover that chart now. Here we have my Total 3 chart. So as Stop Money Lizard was saying, it's trying to break out of here. As you can see, it's just wicking above this 1.13 trillion line. It got above it the other day. It got to like 1.16 trillion. I think that was on Friday. But it's yet to officially break out. What we want to see is weekly candle closes above this line, okay? Then we can start getting very excited. But I'd say the way this is structure's building up here, the way these EMAs are, the way it broke this downtrend, held it as support, and now has started to break out. I believe we're going to get the breakout this week. And what timing as well, impeccable timing with a rate cut potentially coming on Wednesday. Well, we know a rate cut's coming. I mean, it'd have to be a real shocker for it not to happen. And let's do some fib extension targets as well, just to see what we're looking at here for Total 3. Okay, so we're going to go from this low here, okay, to the high, back to the low again. Okay, and as we can see, it's already met this one line, okay, and you've got the 1618 up here at 1.47 trillion. Okay, now what we've got up higher here, meeting this line here as well, is around 2 trillion. Okay, so this is potential. I mean, this could potentially happen by the end of the year. Okay, so could the crypto market carry on into next year? Yes, it can, but I'd be watching and seeing what this is doing this year. Okay, having said that as well, what would happen if it didn't happen? Okay, say we did get rejected here, what would we be looking at? Okay, well, first of all, I'm looking at this uptrend that it's held and respected, okay, since 2023. That's a strong trend line. I'll be looking at these EMAs, okay? I'll be looking for these 5 and 13 weeks starting to cross bearish. Then I'd be looking at this 50 EMA, which is following nicely up with the trend line as well. And then you've got these levels, okay? So around 906 billion, okay? It's held it as support, resistance, a number of times on a weekly chart, okay? So losing that 900 billion would be a first sign of alert for me. And then a major one down here would be 760 billion. And then 690 would be major alarm bells, because then you're breaking down into this old range we was in early 2024. The cycle would be starting to look rough. Your altcoin bags would start to be getting absolutely wrecked. So yeah, these would be signs that things are not looking good. But at the moment, we are bullish. So as long as we're bullish, we're bullish. The trend is your friend until it ends. Okay. And in the cycle, as it's going along, others is lagging behind. But we have seen a breakout this week, a nice strong breakout actually. If we zoom in here, right, and look at how much support and resistance for weeks this level here around 300 billion has been, and it's finally breaking out with some strength, which we're going to get a weekly close above here. Time recording, it's Sunday afternoon. And yeah, this looks like we're going to get the weekly close. Quite wicky though. It'd be nice to be able to recover a bit more of that wick before the day's up, but that doesn't matter. It's breaking out. It's quite clear. So it's next going to be targeting this level, which it found resistance here around 350 billion, and then we've got the 450 billion up here. So they're the levels we're looking to take on. The EMAs are all fanning out, nice and bullish. We had this W pattern, the double bounces off the trend line, and it's got bullish structure. Okay, so I am expecting this to keep moving up. Okay, can we get some weekly pullbacks along the way? Of course we can, but the trend is your friend. As for Bitcoin dominance, it's been continuing to drop. The EMAs are all starting to turn bearish, and it's looking like this is going to continue its downturn. Like I always say, though, it doesn't mean that this can't get a bounce. I did see it wick down below this 57.5% level that I've had marked out for some time. Okay, obviously that was after it trying to reclaim 58.9%. It was unable to do that on a couple of pushes up, as we can see on those wicks. Okay, and then it started to make its move down. I want to see this break. I want to see this break soon. Maybe Bitcoin gets a bit of a rally where Bitcoin dominance, it claims back some dominance for a bit, takes another go at this, and maybe we're getting some sort of a range here for Bitcoin dominance before the rest of the alt season continues. Having said that, the most bullish outlook would be on the rate cut news next week. If it's not a sell the news event on the short term, that this just starts to drop and altcoins start to pop. I mean, the thing that's telling me that this is going to fall is the fact that you've got Total Free and others looking really strong, and some of the other altcoins that we're going to cover, like Solana and Sui, looking like they're starting to make moves. So it is telling me that maybe, yeah, this is going to start dropping even more faster in the next couple of weeks or so. And USDT dominance was failing to get above this trend line about 2 weeks ago. Okay, it's like basically got rejected from there, and it started to make its move down. It did wick below this 4.28% level, and it's literally sitting there now. Okay, and what we want to see is continue to the downside. Yeah, we really want to break this 3.73% level and get into the party zone. Yeah, and like I say, after party zone down here, if that's going to happen, that's when you really want to be taking a lot of profits as well. So some of these charts are ones that you want to really keep in your bank. Yeah, things like the DXY, the USDT dominance, Bitcoin dominance, and ISM, a few others. Okay, because when you start to see the charts turn around, I'd like to think you was taking profits on the way to those turning points. So, like you say, if you're heading to after party zone, you want to be taking profits on the way there. If you're watching the DXY fall in, it's going to, you want to be taking profits with that as well. Bitcoin dominance as it heads to 40%. If it's going to 40%. Take profits on the way there. Don't wait for it all to happen, okay? Because it could soon turn on you, and you could be like, "Oh, it's all right. I'll just wait for it to go back there again. Then I'll take my profits, and it won't go back there. And then you'll lose that level, and then you'll be like, "Oh, why didn't I take profits there? I'll tell you what. Next time it goes there, I'll take profits. It doesn't go there, and then all of a sudden you're in a bear market and you haven't taken your profits. So as you're watching all of these things happen, start layering out, whether it's 5 or 10% of each bag each month. Do it. Like, just like if you was DCAing throughout the bear market, you was, maybe you're still DCAing. As you're DCAing in, okay, as you did that, this is the way you want to take profits as well. You couldn't put all your money in the market in one go, could you? Okay, so why would you be looking to take all your money out in one go? Okay, it's best to DCA out as well. Another bullish news: ETH holders with a balance between 10k and 100k ETH hit a new all-time high. And then Titan of Crypto says, fractal reminder, and this is for Bitcoin and ETH. History doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes. And if you look at these patterns, they're not the same, but it's the structure, and then it's what he's looking at here with this RSI, okay? And yeah, it's very similar. It's very similar. So if that fractal, if it is a fractal, yeah, we should be expecting Ethereum to be breaking out and going on an absolute tear right now. And one thing I'd add to Confluence with this is the way that, since Ethereum tapped that new all-time high, but then got rejected, the rejection was so minor, and it's still holding there strong. And I believe that's what a chart like this looks like. See there? Yeah. And you can go and look at this on your actual charts. But when we're in these huge run-ups, the banana zone, you may call it, yeah, you're not going to see huge long corrections. Yeah, you're going to see pauses and holding and moving up higher. And if you see a bit of a downside, maybe it's just a bit of a wick by the end of the week, and then then you're holding higher and you're moving higher. So what we want to see in this type of condition as well, we want to see a fast move away soon. Okay, we don't want to be starting to see a slow corrective period right now, because what we want to see is strength and conviction in the markets, and a fast breakaway. That would be ideal. And a few people are starting to share this now. So look, people are showing their own versions of this, their own fractals and stuff like that. And yeah, look at this one. It's showing exactly the same things on its RSIs. Okay, these patterns. And yeah, I mean, got 1, 2, 3, and then break. 1, 2, 3, break. Is this starting to go? Let's hope so. This is my Ethereum chart with some key diagonal levels, as you can see, where there are ranges. There was this range down here from 2019 to 2020, and then it broke out, and then started taking out, and then it had a range up here, then it fell down, it had a range there, and then a range, okay, and then it broke down, and it touches the similar points again, okay. Now, we are in clear space for some price discovery up to, like, if it was up there, say, in the next few weeks, yeah, it might take longer than that. You're punching at close to 7,000, okay, per Ethereum. So, like I say, if this can break through, I mean, some people might be looking at this and going, "Oh, that's overextended already." Look at it. It needs to pull back more, and it doesn't need to pull back more. This could go. This could absolutely go. It's broken out of this 4K level. It's briefly made a new all-time high, but it just could absolutely rip soon. And then I'll be looking at it getting to this level here around 7,000. Okay, and if I look at the fib extension levels on that, let's pull them up. So, okay, let's go from this low up to this level here, and then back down again to the low. Okay, so it's gone past the one level, okay, and then it's 1618 is here at around 5,690, and the next level above is 8,400, okay, and then we've got higher level targets of here up to 13,000, 14,000 per Ethereum. And could it get up to this line here? Okay, so if we're looking at the end of the year, maybe into Q1, we're looking at around 19,000. So if it's by the end of the year, we could be talking about an 18, 19,000 Ethereum. If we're talking about Q2 of 2026, let's bring that back. We'd be looking at around, yeah, just around 20,000. So that's why a lot of people call the 20,000 target for Ethereum. It's got the potential. It's from high to high to a new high. Perhaps there it is around 20k. That would be nice, wouldn't it? And Marty Party said, in the last 10 hours, Galaxy Digital has bought another 325,000 Solana worth 78 million as it brokers deals for DATs and ETFs. DATS stands for Digital Asset Treasuries, by the way. Okay, and then you can see someone commenting here. 78 million moved the price of Sol nearly 5% in 10 hours. Guys, they have over 1 billion plus to buy. And here we go. Look, just in, Galaxy Digital has bought 1.16 billion of Solana in the past 3 days. So big wows, big institutions are starting to buy a lot of altcoins and certain altcoins. We're starting to see this trend now. It's going to continue for the coming months. Okay, we're just going to see these flows. It's going to be so good for our bags. And Solana's really starting to get moving. Okay, it broke this $220 level, and it's approaching the 260 level, which was the old all-time high from 2021, around 260. Okay, so the all-time high for this cycle so far is 295. So could we be seeing a $300 Solana very soon? Yes, we could. Who knows how long it's going to take, how many weeks it could take, but I think it is heading there. Like I say, who knows? We could have a move up into the FOMC. We get the rate cut. We get a small pullback, and everyone's like, "Oh, see, it was a sell the news for the rate cut and all of that." And then, then it just steams on and pushes higher. And yeah, where could this go? Okay, let's have a look. Let's look at the 2 fib levels. I want to look at the near term one and a long term one. Let's start with the long term. Okay, we're starting at the bear market low. Okay, up at the high of the old cycle of 2021 and moving it up. Okay, now we're looking at a some of these higher fib targets here. $1,200 Solana, and in the near term, you could be aiming for like $400, $412. You've got 659, okay, and then 907, and up there at the $1,200 levels. Okay, now let's take that off and start again and do it on the near term from this correction here. Okay, up to the new all-time high, pull it back again. Okay, and then we'll see where we're going. Okay, and then in the near term, it's also pointing at $418, $618, $817, and then, like I say, also up here around $1,000. Okay, that would be really good. So all of this could be happening soon enough. And we've got some mega bullish news here for SUI. Okay, SUI Group Holdings. Okay, previously known as Mill City Ventures. Yeah, they're a new treasury company. Okay, they're listed on the NASDAQ and they are loading up on SUI. Here we are, just in. SUI Group launches $50 million SUI buyback while holding 101.8 million SUI in its treasury, showing strong belief in SUI's upside. Okay, so not only are they already holding at 102 million SUI, near enough, okay, they're also pledging 50 million to buy back SUI. Okay, this is going to be pumping our SUI bags. If you're in SUI, well done. You've made a good call for this cycle. This is one of the most exciting and the best new project in crypto. Fundamentally strong, great team, and it's been great price action so far as well. So I've got nothing but high hopes and confidence in SUI. And here we go. SUI is moving up the crypto charts. It's now overtaken XLM and USDE at 13. And we've seen some strong price action for SUI this week as it's come down to this trend line. Not only that, this trend line as well, where they both met, and it's bounced away perfectly. And that was last week. And then this week has seen a significant move. Now it's trying to get up here to this 378 level. Okay, then I believe we're going to start taking out this local high here around 443. But you've got this overhead trend line, okay, We're watching for this. Okay, I do believe it's going to get up there. Okay, we've got the EMAs starting to tick upwards a little bit as well. So it looks like the correction, which has been quite a long correction. Okay, this correction lasted since January for SUI. Okay, and it's made some higher highs and higher lows. But the structure was looking like it might have got lost at one point. I thought if it's going to come down to this 50, then it's losing these trend lines. Okay, I was thinking maybe it would be just a wick, and it has been just a wick, and it didn't quite come back that far. So it's showing strength, and it is starting to move away. Okay, so like I say, we want to overcome this 379 level, and then we can start taking on this, 435, 433 level and this overhead trend line. Then we're going to start. I think once you start getting up there and overcoming that, you're going to be challenging for new all-time highs, and then it's going to be price discovery for SUI. And where can it go? Okay, so let's look at the fib extension. Okay, let's go from this low here to up to the all-time high, and then back down again. Okay, and then you're looking at, you've got a 1618 of 766. You've got a 2618 at 1133, and then you've got $15 at free on the 3618, and you've got 1869 up here at the 4618. Okay, so can it get to nearly $20? Okay, and the good thing about these fib levels sometimes, what you do notice is they are sometimes below psychological levels. A psychological level that many people will be calling for SUI will be $20. And this is an important thing to remember when you're taking profits. I suggest you learn how to use these extension tools if you don't know already, because they're good at setting out some markers. What you can also do is you can get, draw a line on those levels and color it the same, so you kind of know that that's the 1618. Okay, so when you take your chart off, you've still got that 1618 level as a profit taking. So if I start seeing SUI getting up there to 768, I could start saying, well, maybe that's somewhere I should be taking a little bit off the table, and then I can leave more in to run to all them other levels. Now, if you start getting to those higher fib target levels, you want to start exiting more heavily, I believe. So fib extension levels are another great method for taking profit, as well as looking at where we are in the cycle, what's going on with the economics, and what's going on with some of our macro charts. And we'll probably look at this more fundamentally on another video, but I just wanted to bring everyone's attention to pump this week, because it's had such a bullish move. Okay, you've got this W pattern where it launched, it sold off hard, and I actually was fortunate enough to get in at the lows. Okay, I think I got in down at these lows here. I think it was when just after it got released, and I got in right down lows. I saw it come down a lot, and I just knew that this is something that, it's not going away. It's going to be, it was a risky play. I only bought a little bit. It's not one of my biggest positions or anything, but it's just something. These are the sort of opportunities you need exposure to. Okay. And then it formed this W pattern. Okay. And then it's broke out from that level, from the neck level, and then it's retested it and moved away. This is really bullish momentum. Okay, so where could it go next? I mean, you've got this this level here at 4042, yeah, and that's where it launched from. So I'd be looking for it to break that. Now, it's had a significant move over the past week. So will it see a little pullback? Potentially, but will it just get up there first before it has the pullback, then start to consolidate before breaking into a new price discovery? So keep your eyes on pump. If you're not in already, maybe a small allocation of your portfolio. But this is not financial advice. Obviously, I never give financial advice on this channel. It's just me, going through on my journey in this market cycle, and just telling everyone what I'm doing, and trying to give some tips along the way. But it's not financial advice, of course. But like I say, if you was looking to get in it, maybe you might want to see some consolidation and a pullback first. And just a quick look to show that retail interest is still low. Okay, I mean, we could start saying that retail interest is really picking up when it starts taking out these highs around this 1.5 million views level and 2 million views level. I mean, the previous cycle, you was up here at around 3.5 million views. This is per day. Across all of these YouTubers, these top YouTubers, their channels, including Alex Becker and Crypto Banter, and you've got a lot of big cryptos channels here. Ben Cowan, Altcoin Daily, they're all combining to add this up, and yeah, it's still relatively low, and the crypto total market cap is still under the fair value line. Okay, let's have a closer look at that. Okay. So we've got the fair value line. It's literally been hugging it, as you can see. Okay, and the fair value at the moment sits around 4.36 trillion. Okay, so we're sitting around that mark at the moment, and it's actually at is that, yeah, it is around 4 trillion at the moment. Okay. Now at the top end right now, say if it was to go to the upper band right now, you'd be talking about 41.69 trillion in crypto, and this just gets higher the further it gets out. So if we say went till the end of the year, okay, and yeah, 30th of December there, 46 trillion in crypto. Now this has been met at the top of each cycle by total crypto. Okay, it didn't make it in 2021 though. So will it be diminishing returns, or will it be crypto's biggest cycle ever, as some are saying? And this gets extended out into 2026, and you're talking around just under 50 trillion for the whole crypto market. That includes your stable coins, it includes Bitcoin, includes all the altcoins and everything that's involved with it. It is possible. So this is another reason of like, do you want to be scaling out of your bags too early? Well, I'd like to have a chat about that one quickly. So if crypto is going to continue on into next year and become the big, huge industry that we believe it could be, and there is some sort of extended cycle pushed out by liquidity, central banks, quantitative easing, and all of that stuff could come. Okay, maybe there isn't a recession yet. People are calling for the recession soon. I believe there will be a recession after this cycle. I believe there will be a euphoria and a mania phase. And euphoria and mania phases, when they're so clearly obvious, when everyone's printing gains, when everyone's jumping into crazy, stupid meme coins, and at the top of the app store, the best performing apps on the app store are like your Coinbase, your Robinhood, your Phantom Wallet. These are signs, okay, of a toppy market. When your friends and your family are coming to you and saying, "How do I buy some of this crypto stuff?" That's another sign as well. But we will see this with a combination of, fundamentally, you'll see it going on, and fundamentally and technically, you'll see it in the charts. So I believe all of that will come. So let's just keep monitoring it.
Exactly as I said, I wouldn't want to try to pick a slice of AI to talk about being undervalued. But if we think AI is undervalued, what's even more undervalued is small caps, because that's been held at bay because the Fed has not been cutting rates. Fed's been on hold all year. And for the first time since last year, the Fed is cutting in September. A September cut after a pause has only happened in 1998 and 2024, and both times were good periods for small cap stocks.
So a question to you, though. The same weakness in the economy and the job market that's leading the Fed to cut, doesn't that directly impact small caps?
Well, I think that we want to not be like oversimplistic in thinking about this. Number one, what is the Fed going to try to accomplish by cutting, especially if they're worried about the employment market weakening? They want to get the ISM to actually go back above 50. They want corporates to start hiring. They want businesses to be confident. So this rate cut is not just a symbolic cutting of interest rates for mortgages. It is really an attempt by the Fed to get the economy to grow again, to actually increase the job market. That's really bullish for small caps.
So a couple of key points there from Tom Lee. Okay, so The ISM, we want to see it above 50, and that's possible as we saw it climb last week from 48 to 48.7. So we're not far from 49.50. And also, as he says, small cap stocks, okay, they're going to do well if this all happens, okay? And as I was showing you in my previous video, please go check it out, the cyclicality of the Russell 2000 and it breaking out potentially in the coming weeks here, okay, it's almost at the all-time highs, okay? I've been talking about this since it was down here, okay? This is a weekly chart, I've been banging on about this and how others crypto chart is following this similar pattern. You know, had the big bear market like that, okay, and then it had a drop and then it's rising up. Bit slightly different, more of a triple top here and a different pattern, but it's following in the same macro trend as the Russell 2000. Russell 2000 being the low cap stocks of the stock market. And if we're saying that AI is going to be big and big cap AI stocks have already performed really well and they've helped push the S&P 500 up, the NASDAQ up, okay, there's going to be small companies all getting involved with AI and new tech companies launching. There's no way in a cycle, AI's first cycle, that this doesn't break all-time highs. It's going to happen soon, and I believe that will show a heavy risk-on environment for the crypto, for the stock market and the crypto industry, as others will follow this. Okay, it is just lagging behind somewhat, not much at all. And we'll just show you that quick overlay, okay? So we go to here with the plus symbol, okay, and we go compare and we go others, and you click new price scale, yeah? Okay, and as we can see, you know, this red line is others, okay, and look at it here, okay, as like I say, slightly different patterns, look like a kind of like almost like could be a triple chop for others if it doesn't break out, okay, but it's and also this was more like a V-shaped reversal for the Russell 2000, whereas others has done like a double bottom here, okay, a W pattern as I showed earlier in the chart, okay, but they're both following up at the same time. They've done this a number of times, okay. If you know, it saw the rally in 2021 just the same, and it saw the correction into a bear market just the same. It started rallying out of the bear market at the same time. It's seen some different price action here, but it is starting to follow it up, okay. So this is all really good signs. So it's really important that we do a few things, okay, and we understand a few things, okay. We're going to follow certain charts. We're going to follow things such as the ISM. We're going to look at the DXY, the dollar, and see what that's doing. We're going to follow all of our key crypto charts, whether that's Bitcoin, Total Free, others, seeing where we are with Altseason, with Bitcoin Dominance as well. And we're going to follow some of the key performers in crypto, okay? That being Ethereum, yeah, the biggest alt leader, okay? No matter what you think of Ethereum, that's what it is. And it's that market cap dominance that will bring down Bitcoin dominance and show an indicator to the rest of the crypto market that it is an alt season. Okay, so we're also going to watch our alt season charts as well. We're also going to keep our eyes on the big players. We're going to look at Solana, Chainlink, few other big players. Sui is the hot new crypto. It's the darling of this cycle. You've got to keep your eyes on it. And we're going to, like I say, watch all of these charts. We're going to watch all them indicators on into the cryptoverse, okay? Looking at retail coming back. We're going to be looking at things like that. We're going to look at risk indicators, you know, historic risk levels, you know, the short-term bubble risk. We'll be looking at other things such as the MVRV score. We'll be looking at the Pi cycle top indicator, the pure multiple, all these indicators, looking at fair value, looking at regression lines. You know, I mean, I might be reeling off a load of stuff here that you might not understand. Okay, maybe you've been in the game for a while and you do understand all these things, but you just want to, you know, have a look at these things with me and see my point of view. Okay, doesn't matter what level you're at, whether you're a newbie or you've been around, you're a couple of cycles in and you're an OG. Okay, it all helps for us to look at these charts together, just monitor things slowly. As it comes to when it comes to the Fed, okay, whether they're cutting rates or pausing, okay, it is helpful that they're cutting rates, and it helps fuel the cycle. Okay, but if you get a pause somewhere along in this cycle, okay, that doesn't mean it's game over. The only thing that would really ring alarm bells for me would be the if they started turning very hawkish, and I could see signs that they were potentially going to hike rates. Okay, but that's not even on a table to worry about at the moment. We've got the green light from the Fed almost, so now it starts becoming right. So we've got the green light about the Fed, and fundamentally, crypto's good because you've got SEC regulation, you've got support from the president. So the whole industry has got the green light. You see in the banks, the institutions, the treasury companies are aping into. So it's green lights all across the board. Really, all we're really looking at now is technicals. So that's the way, and timing. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to keep looking at how we're going to take profits, marking off our lines in the future videos, and we're going to monitor those as we hit them. And as I start taking profits, I'll let you know, so you're on board with me. Okay, so if you like the sound of all that, don't forget to like and subscribe. Keep following me. Follow me on X at Prodigal Son BTC. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. Come follow me, yeah, and we'll ride this cycle like a wave together. Okay, see you next time.